Welcome back to Beards and Brews, everybody. This week's review is going to be The Cowboy Way from 1994, starring Kiefer Sutherland and Woody Harrelson, or what I like to call Woody Harrelson must be so tired after carrying this entire movie on his back.
I mean, yeah, not to fault Kiefer Sutherland or anything. Like, he did a fine job. He did what he was supposed to do. He was the straight man. He did what he was supposed to do. But Woody Harrelson, man, like, knocked it out of the park, I feel like.
It's like Ebony and Ivory. It's like complete opposites. I feel like Woody he's just being Woody Harrelson. He's having a gas. And Kiefer Sutherland, the director just walked up to him and was like, well, these are your lines. And Kiefer was just like, yeah, they are.
I feel like Kiefer's character, Sonny, is supposed to be like that straight, gruff cowboy guy. Nothing but business. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Respectful cowboy dude. Woody Harrelson's just the wild card.
So, did you guys like the intro to this? It's very cutesy with like almost that brotherly love kind of thing. Like, oh, here's Kiefer's character clearly going to stand up for Woody's character. But what's the cutest is the fact that they just know that we're going to go, aw, to little children dressed as cowboys being trampled by livestock.
For the first of many times in this movie, I just kind of rolled my eyes at that.
It was, it was a little hokey, like I understand like they were trying to show like these guys have been buddies since birth, let's just say that, since they were like little calves. And I don't know, it's almost juxtaposed for the rest of the movie because the tonal shift it's kind of weird. It feels like it's almost like a Hallmarky family kind of thing, and then it goes into like full cowboy, then suddenly it's a crime thriller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you with that.
It has no clue about the halfway mark, what it's trying to do anymore, and just says, fuck it, it's Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Basically. I was half expecting like a line like, you've yeed your last ha, or something like that, somewhere clicking in.
Honestly, the biggest parallel that I have with this movie is actually Trading Places, believe it or not. Character fish out of water in New York City. All right, we've got to pull off this fucking stunt now, this crazy thing that I've got to do. We got to pull it off, even though we're completely out of our element.
It was Cowboy Busters, They come up to New York, they got to battle all the bad guys, and then, they get praised by the whole city at the end of it. It makes no sense.
And Winston's there halfway through the movie again. Well, I was going to say, like, as I was watching, I was just like, this is like Crocodile Dundee.
Yes, I had that comparison 3 times in here. It's fucking Cowboy Dundee.
I would also have that comparison if I've ever seen Crocodile Dundee.
Say what?
Okay. Ooh, sorry. That's a list contender right there, sir.
Yes, say listed immediately.
just in bold. But anyhow, just a quick plot synopsis. So we got 2 Mexico cowboys. They're like world champions in the whole, I don't know, the buckaroo world or whatever.
They're rodeoists. That's not a real word. But no. They're like cattle ropers and bronking buckos and, the big old rodeo stuff.
They are mother buckers. I told you, man. Yeah. I got out the ass for this one.
It's the ropes and the reins and the joy and the fame.
And they call the thing a rodeo.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to get a cease and desist because Garth does not fuck around.
He's going to be like, hey, I heard you vaguely butcher something that resembled one of my songs. I'm going to have to ask you $2 million.
Well, we're not famous or anything, so we could be friends in these low places. It's all right.
Yeah. But you know who wouldn't give us a cease and desist order? Fucking Travis Tritt.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the buddies. Like, as I was saying earlier, they have this like little rodeo thing going around, and you get the sense that like Woody's a lovable asshole, and Kiefer Sutherland, like you said earlier as well, he's a straight man, but he's also a lack of a character. They got all his other cowboy buddies like Travis Tritt and his band, and they're all fucking around and just trying to like one up each other. They're just like they're just cattle rustler dudes. They're just over there just swinging their dicks around basically.
Except for one's a vampire.
Somebody call James Woods.
Yeah. See,
James
but think
Woods, Vampire Hunter?
every time you see Kiefer, it's during the day, and he's in a pissy, grumpy mood. And then every time you see him at night, he's happy. And then later you see him, he's covered in blood. It's all running down his neck and all over his mouth. And the girl's like, "You came here to save me." And he's like, "I ain't your dad. I'm sorry."
But I'll be your daddy.
You mentioned the vampire thing earlier. I thought you were talking about the bad dude because he had like a fucking wicked pompadour, fucking Pharaoh.
Yeah, that's absolutely who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, that would explain the whole like human trafficking thing. Like that's just like traveling blood bank or whatever.
I must feed.
No, it's
One
Kiefer.
Hispanic ladies.
I'm immortal, therefore I'll ride horses and then drink blood at night. Blah blah.
We
He
do
doesn't
not
say
blah,
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 blah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the first section of this film, we see that there is a New York sweatshop that is completely far away from New Mexico, obviously, and pretty much their friend, who I thought was like a ranch hand, but I guess he's just like, I don't know who he is. His name's Nacho.
I thought he was like a retired police officer because we go back to his place and there's this fucking police memorabilia everywhere, like old police badges and all kinds of stuff. Like even the phone that he used to take the call to New York was just like decorated in old like cop badgery.
Now, I don't know if he was actually a cop. In my head, I said that was all John Wayne memorabilia.
I don't know. I have no explanation.
I thought I had a point about like, it's suspected that he was like an illegal immigrant or whatever, so he just like had all this like American memorabilia. So when the INS busted in, he'd be like, no, I pray to the Duke.
Yes, exactly.
But he gets a phone call from this human trafficker. That's what he is, who has arranged to bring his Cuban daughter into the United States in New York. Needs $5,000. Come pick up your daughter in New York City.
Yeah, and it turns out that $5,000 is a huge ripoff because he'd already paid the gentleman to get her over here, as they have like a little sweatshop, so if you didn't have the money, you can work it off. So evil bad guys like, hey, I'm going to charge you double, make a big stink out of it, and if you come and get her, we're going to blow your head off.
By the way, Dylan McDermott in this looks exactly like Dylan McDermott tried to look like Hans Gruber.
He even tries to have like a half-assed accent too. Like I don't even know what he's trying to do, but like
Then
when
he
he
just
speaks,
gave it up.
looks, yeah, because like most of the movie, it looks like he doesn't have control of half of his face.
He's like, no, this accent isn't working out. I'm just gonna stop.
He stops. But before he stops, when he's on the phone making the phone call, it's supposed to sound like he's being intimidating. He sounds like a phone sex operator.
He sounds like John Travolta trying to put on a like slight New York accent. He's like, yeah, you better come get your daughter. You don't want nothing to happen to your daughter you love. You better pay the money. Come get her.
See, to me, it felt like he was talking down here. Like, if you don't come pay that money, I swear to God, I'm going to take you. Please insert another 50 cents. I was just.
Hey, maybe it can be both, Maybe he could be John Travolta as a phone sex operator, up your nose with a rubber hose.
What are you, a rope sucker?
Well, in that case, I would love to see that note that he left for the boys being like, I have to go to New York. He threatened me with a collect call.
No! The charges are direct. It's an extra $5,000.
Yeah.
Before we move to New York, can we take one moment to just really talk about the horse riding? Man, they didn't even do a remotely good job of getting a stuntman that looked like either man on the horse, other than he too was.
Like, I can clearly tell when the one was not Woody Harrelson.
Oh, really? Because
Yeah.
I thought the shots with Woody were way more believable than the ones for Kiefer, because the wide shots clearly another dude.
Maybe
And
I just
everything
wasn't paying attention to it when Kiefer was going, because his character went first, and then Woody came along, and I'm like, hey.
Something's up.
The only reason why I say that is because when Kiefer was on the horse, like the shots of his face were really close up, just to make sure they didn't have anything else around him.
Whenever they did it with Woody, all you had was that mane that was flowing in the wind. I was like, is he riding like a fake fucking horse and they're just juxtaposing him in there? Is that what's happening?
Oh, no. It zooms
Just
out. He's just on that
green
little
screen.
horsey horse.
Yes.
Also, I'm not going to get into it too deep, but I would have scored Kiefer higher. Just saying. I think he did better.
This guy's
have
a
the
Young
flair.
Guns fan. What?
Hmm?
He didn't have the flair.
Woo!
Well, I
Exactly.
mean, he didn't have any flair to this entire movie, so.
I mean, you ain't wrong there, but I feel like he was supposed to be like Chandler the straight man, but like with that Sam Elliott-esque thing. You're like, when I talk, it's here, and then when I put on charm, I just smile, and that makes you smile because you're like, ha, he feels nothing.
I guess, but if I feel like in this movie, like the mustache is only weighing him down.
It does look a little weird on him.
I bought it.
So now they know that they need that extra $5,000. They got to go up to New York City and get back Nacho because it's been 5 days and he ain't talking, ain't responded. So now Kiefer needs to go and talk to Woody to get some money to help pay off this debt.
We have learned earlier in the film that he does not pay off his debts. Woody is just the wild card that owes everyone money ever since high school.
Well, he's too busy playing Big Chief. He has his priorities straight.
He does. This fucking scene is legit.
So, like, this is just one of those things, like, you could never do today. But I have to say, it's 100% entertaining. So, he's fooling around with this woman who we find out is married. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
But,
matter.
like, he stole her top. He's hiding somewhere in the house, and he's putting on the old, Indian chief accent or whatever. And then when she finally finds him, catches him in the act, he's just standing in the bathtub, pretty much naked except for, like, a little butt flap or whatever. With some, like, Indian war paint on his face, just standing there with that fucking animalistic look in his eyes, just like, me, Big Chief.
You gonna play with my tum-tum. Oh.
I don't know that you portrayed this scene exactly the way it came off. To me, like, it was... I don't know. This was foreplay. Like, this wasn't like,
Oh, 100%, yeah. This is like Wild West roleplay. Like, I get it.
Yeah. This
You know,
isn't
got the
flirting.
cowboy
They're
hat.
already, like, kind of in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, hot and bothered, but it's the West, so they're just, extra bothered.
Yeah.
But he straight fucking tackles this bitch off the bed.
Well, I mean, that's what she gets for tearing off his loincloth.
Yeah. I mean, nothing like a savage beating from Big Chief.
She got sacked.
But then the horn honks, and there's a vampire at the door.
Oh, no.
You notice he
Regulator
doesn't come
pulls up.
in because he was not invited.
Wasn't invited.
Oh, see, this fucking headcanon is like 1,000 more times more interesting than his actual character.
It's all because he was a vampire. And he's like, hey, Woody Harrelson, I need that cash you got. He's like, I got the cash, but we ain't on talking terms. Well, we're going to not be on talking terms. Give me that cash. He goes, I come with my money. He goes, no, you don't. He goes, yes, I do. And they're like 2 grown fucking babies.
They even have that little spat where he's like, get the hell out of my truck, shoves him out and everything. He's just like, and then he takes a second, just turns around and hops in the back of his truck anyway, like an old dog.
Yeah, fucking crosses his arm and sits down. He's like, no.
Yeah. It's all very pouty.
And from here, we go straight to New York. But, of course, they have to have that little montage of their little trip there. And the entire trip is literally just 2 kids yelling at each other.
And forth on this wonderful, wonderful road trip.
What?
See? Get it? Road trip. Because the entire time we're subjugated to Travis Tritt in the background.
Yeah, until Sonny puts in that tape of, I don't know, somebody.
Partner Reba.
I was thinking it was like Loretta Lynn. I'm not too familiar with the ladies of country in the 80s, but yeah, somewhere in there.
You know what? I'll just put 50 on Dolly. Let's see where this goes.
I want to know. I'm going to guess it's Too Far Gone by Emmylou Harris.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Sure thing.
Road trip.
All right. But all the while, realistically, this trip's like a 5-day, 4-day excursion, almost nonstop in a truck that probably has a top speed of 65. And it's Woody just gives him the silent treatment for the entire time. It's hilarious.
he's like, where was that interstate exit? And Woody Harrelson's over there just like takes out the electric shaver and trims up a little bit. Being such a douchebag. It's just gigantic children.
Who fucking has that in their breast pocket? Just like the shaver, just ready to go for the stubble that sneaks up on you.
Gotta look good at times. Oh. But anyways, they know where the bar is that this fellow was heading to, Nacho. And Kiefer Sutherland and Woody are both so country, and on Kiefer's behalf, so vampiric. He can't understand the lack of manners.
Now, hold up just a second. I've heard you say it. Are you saying Kiefer?
Kiefer.
Kiefer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've got my eye on you.
You keep on looking, motherfucker. Hope you see something like. So he's like, I called down there, and you know what happened? Nah, man, tell me all about it. He's like, asshole hung up on me. He's like, I beat his ass.
Like, I love how they have each other's back, but also they're just complete dicks to each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Woody's working on it.
And of course, you know, they just kind of fart around New York, fish out of water. They try to make a phone call, and like one of the unfortunately somebody fucking jizzed in one of the phones or whatever, and Kiefer puts it up to his ear. He's just like, ugh.
All right. So when I was young and I watched this movie, I was like, ew, someone spit on the phone. And then I'm an adult and I watch it and I was like, oh my god, who came all over the phone?
It's like that thing from Something About Mary or whatever.
Is that hair gel?
Yeah, they even make that little reference so you know, because he's like trying to pull it out. He's like, stop, you're going to rip out my hair.
I forget how they get there, but they get to like the little club or whatever. The guy has a front for a sweatshop.
Yeah, what happened was their friend back home wrote down the phone number in the contact phone number in the dust, and he called information to find out where the location of that phone number was.
That's like some Wild West detective work right there. Easy peasy. This
Dude,
movie's only 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's done now. But they do more of this detective work throughout the film, and it's just as simple as them going, well, what if Country Simple works? It does.
They just do. And of course, you know, they can get away with it because they befriended a cowboy cop too, so don't worry about it.
Jeez. So, they're in the bar. It goes about the way you expect it to go. Cowboys walk in. They're like, hey, y'all, we're looking for some people doing illegal stuff. Can you point me to the illegal people? And the illegal people come out and they're like, hey, we don't like when you talk about illegal stuff.
And then Woody's like, hey, your face looks like a hat full of assholes.
Oh, yeah, like that was the first line that really got me, like, burst out laughing. Luis Guzman, who, by the way, like, his face is pretty ugly. I'm not going to cover that up at all. He's got an ugly face, so he comes up and just starts speaking Spanish to him, and he's like, maybe he doesn't speak English. Maybe he wasn't being rude. And he's like, well, you already said the line. I don't need to say it. But, yeah.
Well, now he's one of those like character actors, so he pops up in a bunch of movies. So like next time I see him, I'm just gonna think of that fucking line and lose it again.
But he gets him a beer, smashes him over the head with it. It turns into a ballroom blitz. And
ballroom blitz. Yeah, this is a good old-fashioned old West saloon fight.
And in the back with the cowboy hat, starts shit and tries to get you know the rest.
Yeah, and during all this, I don't know if you noticed, I'm sure you noticed. But Sonny, Kiefer Sutherland is, like, he's doing the brawling, and Woody Harrelson's over there, trying to talk to the ladies while this fight's going on.
He was crawling on the floor, then all of a sudden he, like, sees all these ladies, something, smell your cunt, something. Bingo.
Oh, that's terrible, but I liked it.
Ooh, who ordered the Manhattan clam chowder?
Oh. Yes. But they end up getting tossed out in the streets, and there's like a hobo, like, they're all gonna laugh at you. And, he's important. But then they need to go get a hotel room. And is it Christmas? Because I saw trees with lights.
I don't know, maybe they're wearing their coats through the whole thing, so I don't know.
It gets pretty chilly in the New Mexico never.
And in the New Yorkums at Christmas.
Yeah, so they wander into the hotel from Home Alone Part 2.
Is it the same one?
I don't know.
I don't know. No, I think the one in Home Alone is a Trump hotel.
Okay.
This is the Waldorf Astoria, which is so fancy that I have heard of it.
Oh. Would you like to regale us with a story?
No, that's pretty much all I got. I've heard of it.
Motherfucker. So they go in. Woody Harrelson chugs 3 bottles of wine, and they order some steak. Does anyone want to tell me how they order it?
You gotta knock off the horn, slap it on the ass, and just chunk it right down on their plates. And as Kiefer Sutherland puts it, yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
This whole scene is basically the joke of the waiter just being way too hoity-toity for his own good.
Yeah, for sure. Like New York, it's a hotel. It's a fancy hotel, but it's still a big hotel. You're gonna get the occasional person who doesn't know, the difference between a Pinot and a Cab. I don't know. Like maybe just chill out a little bit, dude.
Well, I mean, after a while, Woody tried to put his Pinot in the cellist, so...
Yep.
I mean, I get it.
After he tongue fucked that bottle for like every woman in the room.
He was getting eyes already from that cellist, and then he just started, just going with it.
But hey, he also caught the eye of Kevin McAllister's mom just sitting a couple tables away.
Hey, that is not Catherine O'Hara. You leave her out of this. She is an angel.
I thought it was Beetlejuice's or Lydia's mom. I was like,
that's also Catherine O'Hara,
same person,
which this
yeah.
is not.
Okay, good. Good to know.
Like I did look it up and I did know that wasn't her, but I'll be damned if that's not her clone.
They finish dinner and they get the check. Woody says he's going to take care of it. And as the viewer, you know that he doesn't have the money to cover this. It's going to be some extremely large amount.
Mhm.
But I was heartbroken when they didn't say how much.
I was thinking like somewhere where it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
Just,
That seems about right.
just because the wine, at least like 3 whole bottles. They didn't even tell him what he wanted, so they could have brought him anything just to be a dick.
Yeah. And he just knocked back 3 bottles. So I was like, okay, let's hear it. Let's see what he's got. And they just never say, but they do let you know that Woody only had $8.
But to be fair, not with the $8, but to the cost of the check, he did specifically request American wine. And in 1994, American wine didn't really have the cachet that it does now. So those might have been like, $30, $40 bottles, which is still more than I'd pay, but...
It just brings a box of wine.
Then I guess the upcharge was just knocking the horns off the cow, I guess.
That's what it is.
But of course, can't pay the check. He kind of pretends that he does. He does that little thing where he kind of flaps the pages and you see him walk off into the distance. And then we catch up with the boys kind of like walking out of the place, and Kiefer Sutherland's none the wiser. He's like, man, what a great meal. Thank you, pal. He's like, yeah, we should actually just stand over here behind this thing.
We should get the fuck out of here.
I thought he was going to bring up a thing like, hey, quit pushing me around. I'm going to get a cramp with all this meat in me.
Oh, but then he's like, God damn it, Pepper, you didn't pay the bill. And it cuts to, the girl. We get to see her now. And she works in a sweatshop and immediately runs the needle into her hand. And the little sign is like 0 days without an accident. What a bitch.
Yeah,
I don't
this
think
is
they ever
Nacho's
changed
daughter,
that.
who is, by the way, she is gorgeous.
She's got that Latino. I'm going to stop talking.
No, she, I don't even know if she might be Latina. We should cut most of this.
She may be
It's
ethnic.
But welcome back to, and that was a Cowboy Way.
But no, that's a pretty girl. She's now in the sweatshop labor camp, and she doesn't really know what she's going to do until her dad gets there.
And with her current injury, she's like, oh no, I can't do anything. And then Bad Guy Incorporated comes up. He's like, oh, I got you, baby. Come into my special fucking room with like a Band-Aid, and I'm going to rape you.
Dude.
Yeah, Dylan McDermott comes in, and he tries his best to not sound like a scumbag, but he's not doing a very good job at it. He's like trying to, hey, let's put some Band-Aids on that. Let's take a look. We can rinse that off. All the while, he's just got pure rapist eyes.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a musical. Like, whenever she hurts her hand, she's like, ow! She stands up, like, all dramatic and is looking at the camera. Like she's gonna be like, "Oh, why am I trapped in this sweatshop?" And the people are like, "Cha cha 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 cha," but it's like in a rhythm, you know.
Hey, it's like
I think
Chicago.
I thought that's what was gonna happen. Instead, it's Rapey McDermott.
Cue Travis Tritt.
Yeah.
It's a
Well-
great day to be alive.
But hey, you know, it's nighttime. The Cowboys have to find somewhere to rest up and get all their stamina back. And hey, they're cowboys, so what are they going to do? They're going to camp where there's a park. It's Central Park, you sillies.
And they get woken up by the park buster.
Yeah.
Yep, Ernie Hudson just rides along on his little horsey.
No, that's Winston Zedmore. You know, headcanon says that after the 1989 incident, the Ghostbusters kind of fell into peril again. He had to get a second job. Boom. NYPD.
This time he was more respected, thus the higher position.
Yeah,
Because-
that's exactly what happened.
He
Yeah.
had 2 gold rings on his arm. Was that it's not captain. I don't know what that is.
I'm just saying, whatever he was, he didn't have the power that he did. All right, because by the end of this fucking movie, he rides a horse into the station, round up the posse boys, and then he's got like fucking 8 police boats, of which he's standing on the front of one, screaming at the top of his lungs while he just does things that would get any man fired for every fucking reason. Did he go in the fucking precinct, eat the chief, his strength now be in him? You know, like what happened?
He wants to be a cowboy, baby.
Nice.
And of course, you know, he sees cowboys. He's always wanted to be cowboys. He's best friends with them. They get along, little doggy.
They do, yeah. He's like, I'm going to take you down to the missing persons ward, see if we can find some info about your friend. I'm also going to give you this ticket because you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing, but yeah, let's go be friends.
Well, he gave him the ticket because he said something ash-hole-ish. I forgot what it was, but it was actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, see, Kiefer didn't get one. Only Woody.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He said something like, Winston was like, "What are you boys doing down here?" And he's like, "You know, camping out in the night. What all bloodthirsty people do," or something like that.
Just like a vampire.
Yeah. So, obviously, the next place they need to go is the morgue.
Oh,
No. You are not glazing over this.
What, the Bill Hickok stuff?
No, the fact that they go into the police precinct and he goes, "Okay, who are you looking for?" His name's Nacho. What's his social? I don't think he's got one. What's he look like? Little guy, scar above his eyebrow. Click clack, there he is. And it was like, the
Yeah.
fuck?
It would have been better. It's like, well, what's he look like? Well, he looks like our friend Nacho. Beep boop. Yeah, he's dead.
Yep, he's dead as fuck right here. Let me show you where he's at. Room 20B.
Literally, the only useful information that they gave was scar above his eye. Like, they don't know his name is not... Nacho probably isn't his real name, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not. His real name now is expired Nacho.
Oh.
But you know, they have like an awkwardly tender moment in the morgue as they see their friend dead on the little slab, and they're like, we have to have good old-fashioned revenge. Let's go get it, I guess.
With this pawn shop ticket.
Yeah.
But now they go back to the bar and snatch up the halitosis hobo.
Oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, get in the car. I'll rip this 20 in half, give you one half, and when you give me information, I'll give you the other half, and then you can buy, like, I don't know, 20 hurricanes.
He's like, 20 hurricanes. Follow me to this drug bucket house.
Yeah.
Drug bucket house, yeah. But it turns out that drug bucket house, man, it's a trap.
Wait, where'd he get that 20 from? I thought they only had $8.
Kiefer has money.
Yeah, Kiefer's been modeling this whole time. He's got the cash.
All right.
So now the restaurant from the cook that never got like confirmation that his steak was okay is toting a shotgun because he's a hitman on the side.
Well, you gotta pay the bills, man. New York's expensive.
For reals. And now there's like a cockamamie shootout inside this fucking trap house. They end up escaping down into the truck. As they're driving away, they see that the halitosis hobo has been killed and placed in the back of their truck.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they-
Dylan McDermott kind of took care of him.
Yeah, and they ditched the body in broad daylight.
You know, it's like that bit from Last Action Hero. I've shot a man.
Yeah.
They could have brought him to like the fucking cops or whatever, and still had like a little bit of a case.
You think somebody will find him? He's like, I sure hope so. It's like he looks like he's just sleeping. They're gonna leave him there until he rots.
It's gonna start to stink.
Yes.
Better get waste management on it.
Oh, but long story short, fucking Woody Harrelson has like real sense. He goes, "This shit's too real for us, man. People are dying. We should leave." Kiefer is all like, "You gotta be there for your pals." And he's like, "Fuck them." And then he's like, "Oh, my truck."
Yeah, Teresa's still out of there. Like, you know, that's Nacho's daughter, and she's probably pretty.
That's probably what he was banking on.
Well, they explain the connection later, you know, and the whole fact that I saw every picture that you sent to your dads as you grew up. I felt like I watched you grow up. Use my family too, Sling Blade. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Then with them mental images, I went back in my bunk.
Great. I was gonna say, good old Nacho inadvertently like supplied him with like a lifelong wank bank. Thanks, pal.
Nah, vampires are into him young. That way, you know, he can watch you age. It's like the only way he can get his rocks off because he's eternal.
You've been watching too much Buffy or something.
I'm just like, this whole thing of him being a vampire just is tickling me. But anyways, good old fucking Vampire Sutherland, he's so pissy. He takes his little prize belt that he won with Woody Harrelson, pawns it off to get the guns back that Nacho had pawned so he can have some money to pay for the girl.
See, I thought the guns that he had was, you know, to use as guns.
He wound up in the morgue, so go figure.
Damn. He was like, I'm gonna smoke these essays. It didn't work out.
No, I mean, I thought Kiefer got his guns back to use for the purpose of being guns.
Well, I mean, yeah. Oh no, I thought you meant that about Nacho. Like, you know, he went to go start a gunfight, but he sold them. So instead of like having like a piece on his hip, he just had a wad of cash and got himself killed.
Do some 20s at him.
Yeah.
Like half a 20. Here, take it.
Get the other half when I get my daughter.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so Woody sees this, he's like, oh man, not the belt buckle. And he heartbrokenly becomes a piece of meat at a local, I guess, perhaps gay dance club.
I don't know. It's like one of those like extra modern artsy fartsy get-togethers where like everybody's on cocaine and just like fucking blowing each other.
And the fucking German dudes are like, oh, do we want to touch your face? And yeah.
And Woody, you know, he's apprehensive, but like, of course he is. Like these like weird German/French dudes are trying to like diddle him.
Yes. And they're trying to touch him. He's like smacking waist and go, what the hell is wrong with y'all? And they're like, oh, he's so cowboy. This movie,
I love your hat and your boots.
Yes. This movie is like Brokeback Mountain, but gayer.
Oh no, Broke Dick Fountain. Wait, no, that's stupid.
But yeah, he goes to this, the original lady who was, I guess, given eyes to him in the restaurant. She gave him a card, which is an invitation to this party, and it's just like I don't know, I guess something that rich people do. They're like in the fashion industry, and there's models that model underwear, and I don't know, it's a little, I don't know, it's kind of gay.
It's a little... I mean, Woody wasn't into it, but hey, look, he had the card invitation, which is also an invitation to her pants, because Woody's like, hey, lick, drink, kiss, and she's just like, smitten.
Wouldn't you be? And then his exact words were, I know you eat the worm. And she's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Absolutely. Generic bad guy is just like walking around that same party for whatever reason. I don't know. And he's like, hey, you know that guy? Yeah, he's generic bad guy. Let's go meet him. And then he's like, yeehaw, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Oh, that was a bad idea.
He's a clothing distributor because he owns a sweatshop.
Got him.
Yes. He starts yelling the gospel and hitting him, and then he gets beat up and thrown out, and then he has to like escape because they're gonna secretly kill him maybe. You don't know, but probably. He does some stomping.
Yeah. And at the same time, you got Kiefer like tracking down the girl in her actual like hiding location, and he has no problems finding her. Like finds her immediately, but winds up getting his stupid ass captured and thrown in another room too.
Well, no, isn't the apartment or whatever that she is living in or currently holed up in, isn't that just right above the bar?
The other bar, not the one that they were in, but yes.
Yeah, the bar that the Cuban bar.
Yeah, the one they drive the truck through.
Yeah, she's not super hard to find.
Well, I'm trying to like piece together like how he got the intuition to go there.
It's the only other place that they have. It's like, this place. Where do we go? This place. We can shoot here for 3 days. This place.
Yeah, it's where he's seen them consistently. Like, that's where he first saw Bad Guy and Luis Guzman. And he went back there, and they were there again. So, that must be like their rocket headquarters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he showed up and he's like, "Oh, my spidey senses are tingling." Turned out it was a stroke, and he found her. Got it.
Yeah.
See, bingo. You knew that he had spidey senses because it was his fucking vampire shit kicking in because it was nighttime. That's why he was being so aggressive. He's like, I can't wait for Woody Harrelson. I can't. I need to drink. Buh! And then he got clubbed in the head. I didn't say he's invincible.
But in between this part and the next part, we do have a scene which is not really important at all, but we got Dylan McDermott, who's like second level bad guy, and then we've got like the big boss, who is for some reason slightly less of a bad guy.
He's the mafia guy. It's been at it for years. Like, he's a bad guy, but like Brady said, he's got morals. They sell people, but they don't sell drugs or nothing.
Yeah, he's like the coyote. And he smuggles people across the border and then sells them to loved ones. But once they've paid, they get the people. And he was on to Johnny, a.k.a. Mr. Stark, for charging extra money because he was greedy.
Hey, we don't kill here, Johnny. Hey.
Why you treating me like this? Huh? Why you treating me like this?
In that scene, Dylan McDermott, the second level bad guy, he levels up and shoots the...
Yes.
The big boss man.
Yeah, held the gun sideways. Kill shot. Got him.
That is a kill shot.
Well, how are you going to save him? There's only one way to save him. You got to charge in with your cop buddy on a horse because it's the Cowboy Way.
Yeah.
He calls himself Mad Dog Shaw, for God's sakes. This cop has a fucking on-screen power trip.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, nobody's going to watch a movie called The Cowboy Complex. It just sounds fucking weird.
But he's like spinning his revolver and pointing it at like innocent bar people. I mean, that's a real bar. Half the people in there don't even know about the shady business going on behind the scenes.
Dude, not even that. Woody drives that truck into the bar, knowing there's innocent people in there.
Zero regard.
Somebody.
Like, some of those bricks flew across the room at 60 miles an hour and bashed someone's head in. Someone's dead in the background.
Yeah, things could have been really grim.
Speaking of grim, what I've got here today from Grimm Brewing Company out of Brooklyn, New York, which is, I think, where we're going next, actually, in this little road trip. This is Chronos. They label it a hoppy pilsner. It is 5.1% ABV.
Sounds like a good time.
And, well, I haven't actually gotten down to the beer yet. I've just licked my finger from, like, trying to disperse a little bit of the head. Ooh. Do it, Daddy. Ooh.
Now I'm cutting that shit out.
It's going to taste like juicy fruit, calling it.
Maybe.
You're really not far off. Like, I've had beers that taste like Fruity Pebbles or something. Like, this is interesting.
I don't know about it, but I had one of those moments to where, as he got excited, started to salivate, and I was like, huh, bet you that tastes like juicy fruit. And then it just started to fill my tongue with a juicy fruit flavor, and I was like, yeah, that's what that beer tastes like.
It's kind of weird how like the body does that. Like, you just anticipate that hit from whatever it is, like the extreme fruitiness or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a good strong head on it. Smells really fruity. Not what I would expect at all. It's just labeled a hoppy pilsner, but man, it's fruity. It wouldn't surprise me if there was some wheat malt in there, just from everything that I'm seeing and smelling. Lots of fruity character. Like, Not just like your grapefruit or orange or whatever that you would get from the hops, but like there's like some apple or cherry or pineapple, or it's just really just generically fruity, almost like juicy fruit or fruity pebbles or something like that, especially on the nose.
I'm surprised that a drink named Grimm has such a rainbow of flavor.
Yeah, well, on the can there actually is something pretty resembling a rainbow on here, so I don't know. This is pretty good. It's not super fruity, not overly sweet. It's got that little bit of a hoppy backbone, but I wouldn't necessarily call it hoppy. There's a lot of complex flavors in here, and I like it quite a bit.
But crashed inside, they run up the stairs. The heroes are reunited. Huzzah! They have saved the young lady. They run downstairs and jump into the vehicle to make a mad dash away with the horse in tow.
You're just going to skip over the say adios, cowboy. Adios.
Oh, well, he said it in like a weird manner. It's almost just like Adidas, and he like kicks him in the nuts.
Adidas.
Yeah, that's when they dispose of Luis Guzman. Rip in peace.
Like a hat full of assholes.
Oh, no, they don't dispose of him there. They take him to the children's zoo, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They kidnap him and like had some cow eat his wiener off.
Yeah, the cop helps him. I don't know, man. This cop don't seem right.
They literally forced bestiality upon a man.
To be honest, that whole scene was the only time in the entire movie that Kiefer Sutherland had a personality.
I'm next. I need some life. I am immortal.
Yeah, they take like a calf who was evidently starving, and they rip off Luis Guzman's pants and are like, hey, that little calf over there thinks your little dangly bits is its udder.
Hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Might feel fine at first, but pretty soon it's gonna hurt.
And his dick got eaten off.
Talk about a blood nut.
Oh.
That's why Kiefer was there.
Well, in that case, Woody's an enabler. He was okay with it.
Yeah, totally. And so was the fucking cop. He's like, yeah, look at that.
Ernie Hudson's just like, man, I'm just happy to have friends.
Yeah, he seemed really like go-gettery when the boys were around.
Ever since Venkman left, I've been a bit of a loner.
We get to see as the bromance and the monologue of a vampire comes together with Keither spending probably about 3 minutes of the film explaining, I ain't mad at you, Pepper. I think I love you as a brother. And then Woody's like, well, I didn't show up because I knew we was going to win, and if we won, you would have got that ranch. And, well, I admit you, bromance.
Everybody knows you're my cool ranch.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm your nacho cheesier.
Yes, I'd say,
Jesus
and baby, you're
Christ.
not cheesier.
But like, as wholesome as they tried to put it, it's complete horseshit. Because there's no way this small town guy is going to get a ranch anywhere outside his small town. So like, Pepper could have just like drove the extra 5 minutes to his ranch. They could have played Big Chief all day.
It would have literally been a clubhouse for them to be at. So he just kind of screwed himself out of a better place to hang out.
Yeah, did you see Woody Harrelson's digs? It's not great. I mean, there's a blonde in there, but it's not great.
I mean,
I saw
Big Chief didn't need much.
Comes with a cool hat trick.
Maybe the ranch could include like a nice little wigwam outside.
Perhaps. But Vampire Boy, he brushes up on his Metal Gear Solid skills, and he sneaks into the sweatshop.
Oh yeah, this is definitely some Metal Gear Solid shit.
You say that, but really, I don't know. It's kind of dumb. Like, they have this like little coin trick when they sneak in to get the guy's attention just to knock him out, when they had the complete element of surprise. Now, immediately after doing that, they ruin their element of surprise again because they have bad guy cornered, you know, and then Woody Harrelson's is like, hey, you fuckers, gotcha.
I think Woody Harrelson at that moment was like distracted by something. I remember him like looking down at the guns like, huh, That's a pretty nice gun. Like, not even paying attention to the situation. Then he's like, oh, there's the girl. I forgot what I was supposed to be doing.
Two-gun Woody can do no wrong.
I thought it was just because one gun was bigger than the other, and he was just trying to deal with the asymmetry. I don't know.
This one's stumpy, but got more boom. This one's longer. Who
They
am I
got
gonna
more soup.
with? Yeah.
Which one would Big Chief use?
Oh, nice. Very introspective.
And then there was a firefight.
I guess. I feel like this is where the movie was originally supposed to end, because after this haphazard firefight happens, the bad guy clearly gets on a boat, drives away, and police boats show up and save the day, ? And then, like, clearly the guy's caught. Like, the jig is up. Winston drove up with the NYPD. It's done. But then it cuts to bad guy and also captive lady just getting out of the water because somewhere in that debacle, they jumped ship and escaped.
And no one noticed them jumping off the ship, even though everyone can see.
Scream, said help, nothing. She was like, cool, I can hold my breath for 2 minutes.
Maybe he was just holding on to her tight the whole time, like doggy paddling with one arm.
He's got her in his teeth.
He had her by the lady handle, which is a specific spot on the arm where a guy can grab her and just have his way with her.
You gotta show me where that is.
That's what they use in all the old 50s films. They're like, come here, you.
Yeah.
Then he snatches her and she's like, I can no longer do anything. He's like, meh. I know exactly what you're talking about. But anyways, he somehow this is ridiculous. I actually started laughing here. The boats are coming in. Ernie Hudson's there, like, maha, triumphant. And then the car
there.
Yeah, he's like, hey, where's the girl? Where's Teresa? And like everybody's just like, yep, we did it. Mission accomplished.
Got the banner behind him and everything. We did it, guys. We couldn't have done it better. They're getting away.
Yep.
I think this was just like, hey, we've spent 3 days in New York City. We haven't showed the subway once. Well, that's in the contract from New York City. They tell us, fucking Rudy Giuliani's on the phone. He tells us we gotta. All
Dude,
right. You gotta write that in.
Every fucking landmark, and they make sure that you notice.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Rocky training montage from the first movie where he just hits every landmark in Philadelphia, just trying to.
It's a tourism
steps. And then it turns into a Calvin Klein ad. What do you know?
Long story short, buy underwear. Cowboy Klein.
Yeehaw.
But yeah, we've got a chase. They go to Brooklyn and stuff happens and they steal some police horses.
Yeah, and we get Chase 2, Cowboy Edition.
Any way we can head it off? Head it off? It's a fucking train!
I feel like that was a legitimate reaction. It wasn't a line. Like, you're fucking stupid.
But then they do head it off.
Because they have some serious horsepower. Haha.
Oh, so then they make it all the way to a fucking train stop, and they're like, give me the girl, and he's like, I ain't giving you the girl. And he's like, I got a gun. He's like, I got guns too. You put yours down. They're like, I guess we did because...
It's one of those moments where, like, anybody could have shot at any moment, but every second is completely wasted because movie.
Yeah.
By the way, how do they know which stop they were going to? Like, there's probably like 30 stops between here and wherever they're going.
You know, that's a good point and probably too much of a detail to go over, but I will. So, they call the police station. It's like, well, where's this place going? And they're like, oh, the next stop is right here off the bridge. But, like, when the guy takes over the train, he's like, no, it doesn't stop here. It's an express train. So that information was worthless.
Oh, no. If the train drops below 50 miles an hour, it's going to explode.
Oh, no.
But
Christ.
Yeah, Hudson's there. He's sneaking up.
Well, he fucking drops the ball, too. Like, had the complete element of surprise. And he's like, hey! And then he gets shot.
Yeah, he's like, hey, shoot me! And he's like, okay. Don't you know a cowboy can kill the bad man?
And they do it in the most cowboy way they could. Huh.
Yeah, there's like an extension cord that they somehow get, and fucking... I don't know, man. This is whack.
They lasso the back of the train and generic bad guy. Now, don't get me wrong. Fuck this guy. He deserves to die. But what you just did to that man is going to be a fucking mess.
Yeah.
I want to agree with you, but with their cowboy powers, as soon as the lasso goes around him, it turns into a mannequin. And it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
That is so obviously a dummy.
Like, I'm surprised they showed so much of it because it was fucking hilarious.
Well, they only got the one take. They're like, look, we said that we could do this once. The dummy hit the fucking third rail. It's burnt.
Hey, we can only pause the New York City trains for 4.5 minutes. It's been 4 minutes and 27 seconds. We gotta go.
Exactly. So like, it's good enough.
Hey, what about the dummy? It's still going. I leave it.
It doesn't matter.
Like, it just cuts to them, I guess, it has to be days later at this point, but they're just like in Central Park again, just like, well, buddies, we're buddies now. We did it, buddies. All right, buddies, let's go our separate buddy ways.
How's it going to be days later? They don't have any money. They don't have any place to stay there.
Okay, I say that only because between Woody escaping the little swanky party, whatever, and all the way to them like saving the day, he was completely in frame. Like, we follow him all the way. So on their way out, there was some time where he got away with that modeling job for Calvin Klein, getting the money so he can get his belt buckle back.
I was wondering at what point he slipped away to go get his belt buckle. I don't fucking know.
It doesn't matter.
I guess he got enough money from modeling, shaking his little ding-a-ling in Calvin Klein.
Cowboy Klein.
Cowboy Klein.
Cowboy Klein, yeah.
He shook his little ding-a-ling enough to, make enough money to, I guess, pay for a hotel room for a night or two. I don't know. Hopefully they got enough money for gas to get back to fucking New Mexico.
Woody could have easily stayed with that woman. She was so into the drinking bit. Like, I don't know if her acting was that good or if she was honestly that aroused, but she was like, look, we're going in the trailer, like, fucking now.
She was totally into that little pepper.
Hey! That's his hot pepper.
Yeah, did he just carry around like a Thai chili with him the whole time?
That was set up and it didn't pay off, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's just like, he hands it to Ernie and is like, here, that'll cure all your ailments. Even though earlier in the movie, like, he was, what was it that he had some issue and he chewed on it and he was like, oh, that's fucking hot.
Cancer.
Yeah, that explains it.
Yep, cleared it right up.
Instantly.
Well, that was Natural Born Cowboys. What do you think?
Yeah. It's not a movie that I'll ever feel the need to watch again, but I guess it was entertaining for as long as I watched it. There were a few lines that I genuinely enjoyed and thought were funny, but overall, it's pretty whatever.
I'm on the same page. The ticket to watching this movie is legitimately just Woody Harrelson. The rest of the movie is just revolving around Woody Harrelson. There you go.
Yeah, I thought it was fun in the sense of just watching Woody. And, Kiefer does just enough, for me anyways, to make me chuckle at, like, kind of the back and forth. But the takeaway is dead friends equal antics in New York, where at the end everyone's happy.
Yeah, they did not mourn very long.
So that's the Cowboy Way.
If you have any strong feelings about the podcast or the movie, leave it in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to hit that little bell icon too, so you know next time we got another one of these brewing.
Make sure you check us out on social media. We got that Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddits. We got a wonderful administrator constantly pumping out new stuff for you guys. Get out there and check it out, or we'll lasso you to a train.
Gentlemen, what are we drinking about next week?
Sucker Punch.
Oh.
I'm going to cut it right after that.